What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Modern Mortgage Show, where I interview mortgage professionals who share their stories and valuable information about the industry. I'm your host, Rocco, and I'm excited to introduce my second guest of the day. His name is John Ritz, and he's a mortgage banker at Lending Capital Group out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. John, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Rocco.
Thanks for being here. So, John, can you please start off the show just basically telling us a little bit about yourself, who you are?
Well, I've been in the business since 1993. I worked for a company, it used to be called PHH or Sendant, and then they went back to PHH. I tell everybody I went through the company backwards. I started out in closing, then I went to FHA processing, then I went to the sales department, then I got into management. I also became an underwriter. I've had my DE since the mid 90s. So I'm actually able to underwrite FHA and conventional loans. While I was at PHH, I also went out and got a master's in real estate as well. So,
Oh,
so I've been doing sales. I was in the top 10% of PHH in my heyday, and then I got into management. I kind of enjoyed helping people, the processors and salespeople and underwriting, and educating all the people so they can help out as many customers as we can.
wow. So you've done it all. So how long have you been in the industry, you said?
I started May 3rd of 1993.
Okay, so about 27 years,
Yeah.
26.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
So did you do any type of work before you got into industry?
Um, I actually went to real estate appraising school. I also went and got my real estate license as well. But prior to that, I was in the Army Reserves for 6 years in a small town called Punxsutawney.
Thank you for your service. And tell us about where that town is where you grew up. What happens there? Like we were talking before the show.
Yeah. Punxsutawney is where you hear about on February 2nd. It's Groundhog Day. I actually grew up in that town until I was about 18 is when I moved to New Jersey. And I've been here ever since. And I've been in the mortgage industry for almost a majority of my lifetime. So
So
it's been great.
what made you want to get into the mortgage industry?
Yeah, funny story. I met my current wife, and we kind of hit it off, and we were dating, and I was running heavy equipment for a while.
Hmm.
And, I did that for 5 years and, kind of smashed my knee. So figured out that was not a good career path. And my wife said, well, why don't you come up to this company? And she was a mortgage processor for that company for 15 years at PHH. So she said, come on up. I interviewed and got hired right away. And I was there for 13 years straight.
Hmm. So you've been in the industry for quite a while now. I'm sure
Yeah.
you've helped many people. What would you say is the most rewarding or satisfying thing about being a loan officer?
The best thing that I like is getting the people into the houses.
Mhm.
Some of the things I like to do is because of my underwriting background. I know some of I shouldn't call it tricks of the trades, but I know some of the guidelines that other people don't know that I've actually taken customers from being turned down from other companies, turn them around and actually go ahead and just.
Shifting gears here, when you first started out, what would you say was your biggest struggle or obstacles that you faced early on?
Well, the training when I started out wasn't in the sales department wasn't that great. They didn't have anything set up until later, a few years later, they set up a training session for the salespeople, and it was top notch. But it kind of made me learn by hands on.
Mhm.
When I first started on the sales team, because I came from processing from FHA, when I first started, I didn't even know what PMI was. So I
Mhm.
kind of had, uh, my team leader, John Kennedy at the time, was one of the reasons I got into underwriting because he made me look up and know not necessarily all the guidelines, but he made me figure out where to find them, to find the answers to be able to do these other loans. And it kind of stuck with me. He's like, I'm not going to, you know, give you the answer. I'm going to tell you that you got to go find it. And ever since then, I've been able to find the answers, and it kind of helped all my customers. It was a great time.
So how'd you fix that problem? Just by experience?
Yeah, it just live and learn. And he told me where to go find the answers, so I went and found them myself. And by doing that, I seem to remember it a lot better than if somebody just gives you the answer.
Yeah.
So it
Definitely.
makes it an education was great.
So what made you want to make the switch to originating loans?
Um, it was kind of a natural progression. I started out in the closing department, and I was selected to go to processing, which was kind of an honor because the person that did it was the manager at that time, became the CEO. So so I wanted to see what they were able to do, and I figured if I can take my knowledge from processing and closing and apply it to sales, I figured I should be pretty good at it. And the funny thing about it is that when I did sales, I really wasn't a salesperson. I, try to go in there as being the salesperson, and I'm not. But once I turned around and figured out I'm actually helping people, and when I figured out that I was helping people, that's when my numbers started increasing, and I just became the best helper that these people can have, and we became, you know, good times with these customers because I built relationships with a lot of them. And when I've been out in this field, um, a lot of my clients become friends. I have quite a few friends that have been, previously were my customers.
Definitely. When you provide value and you're solving problems and serving people, the sales will come naturally.
Yeah. And helping people is always the best sale you could ever have.
Definitely. So what tips or advice would you give to someone who's just starting out in the mortgage industry or just starting out as a loan officer and they're hungry?
Um, Best advice I could give you is to find a mentor, somebody that's been in the business for a long time and is up to date on the technology and the new way to get customers. Um, the web has become a lot of as much of a selling tool as the underwriting guideline books. Because if you don't have the people to bring in the door, you don't have to worry about the underwriting if you don't have people to help.
Absolutely. Finding a mentor who's done what you've done or who's done what you want to do is definitely key. And you brought up technology. So in recent years, technology has really made its way into the industry and has revolutionized it. So how would you say this has affected you and your business?
Um, I'm actually in the process of looking into a new CRM and some other tools that are out there, and I think that's going to help me to reach more people. And then this way, when you can reach more people and keep them informed of what's going on, like with the changes that we just had with underwriting styles, with FHA, well, excuse me, not FHA, but Fannie and Freddie, they just made some changes, and a lot of people don't even know about them yet because it just happened.
Hmm.
So you can get that mass information out to, the real estate agents too. They need to know what's going on. And once you let them know about these changes, it's going to have an effect on how they, conduct their business as well, especially with the appraisal changes. Verifications of employment just recently changed. I think it was yesterday. So we have different ways of, with these companies being, laid up, as it were, with our virus situation right now. Um, Fannie came out with new ways to do verifications of employment for the verbal side of it right before you go to closing. So that's a big change that a lot of people don't even know about because it just happened.
Yeah, it's definitely way easier since technology to reach more people faster. So you said you were looking into new CRMs. Do you currently use one?
We have one that we use with our operating system, but I need something a little more robust.
Hmm.
This one I'm looking at is, you know, does a lot of flyers and that kind of stuff instead of the one we have right now. Actually, anytime we have a different milestone like when appraisal comes in or the loan's approved or anything along that line. This CRM that we have currently lets everybody know what the stage of the process is. So this way, keeping everybody informed of what's going on cuts down on the phone calls, makes everybody seem, they're knowing exactly what's going on with the loan at the time.
Yep, communication is huge.
Yeah.
So, are there any modern strategies that you're using now to help scale production or pull in more leads, or even to maintain better relationships with your past clients or organize your business?
I really should be doing probably a better job of, reaching out to some of my past clients. When we had this downtime, I seemed to do it a lot in the last couple of weeks to reach out to some of them. Some of them had great rates to start with. So, it wasn't really worthwhile for them to refinance or anything, but it's always good to reach out to them and keep in contact with them because they know people who might need to refi or somebody else is going to purchase a house. So, that's what I wanted to look into, the CRM part of it, to, start reaching out to the people I've already helped and, kind of keep them and, keep my face in front of them to, let them select me or recommend me to some of their people.
Yeah, turning your past clients into lifelong customers is really huge. The average loan can result in 3 to 5 more transactions over the lifetime of a customer, or even referrals from customers. If you're not maintaining those relationships, then you're leaving a lot on the table.
Yeah,
So
you're leaving it for somebody else to take.
exactly. So are you doing anything to systemize or make or technology to make your life easier, systemize and organize things in a more efficient way?
I think this CRM is actually going to be pretty helpful because it has the ability for a customer to go on the website, upload the documents to this website, which is all secured and everything.
Yep.
And then this way it makes it easier for me to help more people because, trying to get some of the documents seems to be the biggest challenge I've been having lately.
Yeah, streamlining the standard processes. So do you use social media in any effective way for yourself, or branding in any effective way to pull in new customers?
Well, right now I have been communicating a lot with the real estate agents on Facebook. Everywhere from Pennsylvania, New York, and just around New Jersey as well. But I'm not licensed in New York. I'm licensed in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. So right now I have altogether, I think I have over 3,500 people I'm connected with on Facebook. And most of them have been wanting to connect with me, which is a fantastic thing. So that's where I've been, marketing to the most.
So you're licensed in New Jersey and Pennsylvania, you said, and you're
Yes.
are you looking to get licensed in New York?
I would like to. I had a license previously in Delaware and some other states. I'm probably going to look at Florida as well.
Yeah.
And so I think that's, New York's on the radar, but I think I'm going to try Florida and maybe Delaware and Maryland as well.
Okay. Awesome. So where do you see all this technology and social media in the mortgage industry specifically? Where do you see it all going in the future?
Well, I have personally, I have a friend of mine that has a call center, and he said he can help me out making some of the outbound calls for me. So it's kind of like, outsourcing that part of it, which, is a tedious part of, if you're doing telesales, it's something I'm going to try because I'm not afraid to try something new. So what I was going to do is just go ahead and, give him this list and have his team go ahead and make all the outbound calls for us. And then this way they can populate my website and or a calendar that I'm going to set up to where they can schedule appointments for me to call these customers back and help them through the process.
Yeah, that's a good strategy. Where is this list? Is this list like your past people, or where's this list?
I'm going to buy it.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. So let's go to the buyer side now. What do you see as the biggest fear or misconception that your clients have before working with you in regards to getting a loan?
Well, most of them feel like they have to, you still have that preconception that everybody thinks you have to put 20% down when you could have, A credit and all this other stuff. But most of my customers being down in this area are mostly geared towards FHA loans,
Mm-hmm.
where we have the lower credit scores, only, a minimum down payment, and we have expanded ratios, which allows us to, get a lot more customers in the house. And that we previously thought that they previously thought that it was not possible.
Yep, FHA is definitely a good option if you don't have the best score or you don't have a bunch to put down.
Yeah,
So
I'd
what would,
say probably 75% of my business right now is FHA.
and really, so what other types of loans do you focus on?
Conventional, which is Fannie and Freddie, but I also do quite a few of USDA and VA loans.
Okay, awesome. And what would you say is the number one most asked question you receive from first-time buyers?
Um, Most of them are concerned with the first time home buying. Is It's kind of a toss up between two different things. Usually, the credit they're wondering about, do they have enough good credit? And then the other one is the second question, or maybe it could be the first, is how much they need to do the whole transaction.
Mm-hmm.
I have plenty of VA loans. My famous one that I had recently, I had a VA loan where a guy had to bring 25 cents to the closing. Literally 25 cents.
VA loans are definitely a very powerful mortgage product.
Yes.
Well, John, I really want to thank you for coming on the show today. I had a great time talking with you. I really appreciate your time.
Hey, Rocco, thank you. I love what you're doing for us. I think it's great.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you to all the viewers for watching, and we'll see you again next episode.